Crystal Maiden and a Nyx Assassin versus a Darkseer. Again, a decent choice for offlaners on both sides. We now have the Visage moving down to the bottom lane, bottom rune spot. Got Dragon Knight. Morana popped her ult for that, and that should allow him to get away successfully.
And of course he's TPing back, which is a standard strategy, right? Where you always want to have that town portal scroll on you so that you can move around freely.
Always have a TV scroll. That is something that cannot be emphasized a fucking enough. Always have a TP scroll on you.
If you look at Radiant's top lane, looks like Lone Druid just barely got away. He's down to around the 30 mark on health. No, he does have his bear out.
Yeah, bear's out. Bear was doing work back, trying to cover his retreat, but it still couldn't help him get pushed out of lane. I mean, if you look at this support Alchemist, Visage, who's excellent early game, especially around this time with the Soul Assumption, which he has at level 3 now. And Lifestealer's just kind of a tanky hero who can do work anyway.
Good lane pusher. I seem to recall that with Lifestealer specifically, especially going up against creeps, he's basically unkillable. Like once he gets his feast and the other one,
Rage probably. No, you're talking about his Infest.
Just
top lane, we've got Dragon Knight who's rotated in to go on the... Oh, excellent arrow from Morana. Excellent arrow.
That is a skill shot from Morana?
Yeah, skill shot to Morana. We've got the Dire team pushing back a little scared, and I don't blame them considering the accuracy of that arrow. Kill secured. Hashtag kill secured. We got Dragon Knight popping us forward. Nyx Assassin got a double stun on both the Lifestealer. Of course, now that I've talked up the arrow, he misses it completely on the Lifestealer.
Top tower is under attack.
So we got Alchemist town portaling back in.
Yeah, but I mean, this
real fight here.
I mean, it could be. My first instinct is that the tower was going to be gone, but oh, look at the damage coming out from Dragon Knight between the Dragon Tail and the Flame. And they are on the run.
Visage goes down. Wow, yeah, Lifestealer, Visage,
Bear, Alchemist,
Darkseer, and Crystal Maiden. Oh,
that is
Alchemist down. That's
a disaster.
Yeah, that's a relatively early lead for the Radiant. You should have seen it early on when you weren't here.
Yeah.
God damn, baby! I swear to God, when you weren't here, they're actually like the Dire had 3 in their safe lane, and the Radiant had 3 in their safe lane. So it was
they had to rotate it up a little bit, switch it up.
Well, I don't know if it was just an early strategy.
I don't know what was happening.
I don't know if it was just an early strategy with 3 in the safe lane. They had 1 in the off lane. That is the off lane, right?
The Radiant top lane is the off lane for Radiant, and the Dire bottom lane is the off lane for Dire.
Okay, yeah. The Radiant had Lone Druid in their top lane, and he was, I guess, just kind of holding it down against 3 of them.
Yeah.
And for 5 or 6 minutes, it didn't come to much of anything.
Meanwhile, in mid, we've got Alchemist Initiation with an Unstable Concoction. We got Teleport Support coming in. Lifestealer going to town doing work, but the Morana ult saves them. The Morana ult, of course, makes everyone invis for the duration. Guess I should know the name of that. Moonlight Shadow. Okay.
And how long does that last?
Last 15 seconds with a
2.5 second fade delay.
Yeah, fade delay.
That's a really long cooldown on that one.
It is, but I mean that right there was a perfect example of why it can be very powerful, both for escape and for initiation.
Looks like the Dire is trying to go on their bottom lane there.
Yeah, just a little too late though. We've got the Alchemist and the Shadow Fiend rotating up, but I mean, there's nothing to do. You've got a Dragon Knight in dragon form with a double damage rune. That tower's fucking going down. Meanwhile, we've got Lone Druid farming up the Radiant side jungle. No surprise there. He should be doing that, even though it's not like he needs to catch up necessarily. He's got 5,400 net worth, very slightly behind the Shadow Fiend, sitting at 5,700 net worth. Still, not a lot of items going up. The Shadow Fiend looks like he went for Power Tread, going straight BKB. I guess that's okay. There is a lot of physical damage on the Radiant side, but, I mean...
Okay, and
why take the chance? Why take the chance?
The Black King bar, you activate that, it prevents spells from affecting you, but
correct.
Like right-click damage still gets through, no problem?
Right-click damage still gets through, no problem. And
so
Lone Druid,
heroes
Marana,
like...
Dragon Knight, they're all right-clickers.
Okay.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
We got the Lone Druid still farming. He should be safe. They got plenty of ward coverage. They know exactly where the Dire are right now. Like, they've seen the entire team going over to try to defend that bottom lane.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, Lifestealer in the jungle. But again, they see him. They know exactly where he is. So they should feel pretty comfortable at this point to do whatever they want to do. Crystal Maiden can go ward. We've got, Dragon Knight farming solo in the top lane.
What's is there a strategy at play here? Are they doing anything specific?
I don't know. I mean, right now, Radiant's trying to push out the lanes. At this point, the strategy for the Dire is make sure that bottom lane doesn't get out of hand. Same thing with the middle lane. I mean, their T1 towers are down. Of course, I mean, the same thing's happening on the Radiant side, with the exception of the T1 bottom. So yeah, right now, it's just farm and make sure that their towers go down. Like, it's basically saying healers heal, tanks tank.
Yeah,
everyone else do damage. Yeah,
roll your faces on the keyboard.
Exactly, don't die. Which is a pretty solid tactic at this point. You're looking at a Lifestealer, you're looking at Shadow Fiend, you're looking at an Alchemist. Very, very hard carries, especially the Alchemist. He can get to a point where he just starts to snowball out of control. Maybe not so much after this latest patch. Fuck, that's right, he's a fucking support Alchemist, so he's not going to be doing anything. But my point still kind of stands, because if the game goes late enough, he can very easily just put a few points into that Grievous Greed, which gives extra gold on each creep kill, and start farming up his hard carry items.
Right, and so that's kind of the difference between your carry Alchemist and your support Alchemist is the unstable concoction, and how quickly you get that stun going.
Exactly. You go Acid Spray, unstable concoction if you're doing a support Alchemist.
All right, looking at the XP graph here, as well as the gold graph, looks like Bigboobs.
We got Lifestealer in trouble in the middle lane, and he's gonna go down. Rage, TP, tried to save him, but there was just too much damage coming out from the Marana and the Dragon Knight. And
looks like we had most of the team there.
Yeah, we've got a smoke coming Radiant from mid down to the bottom lane. Looks like they want to try to take this. Again, they know exactly where the Dire is. And see, this is exactly what I was talking about. The Moonlight Shadow Initiation. Looks like Vision is going to get stunned up. Nothing much that he can do. That's another 2-person impale from the Nyx Assassin. Darkseer dead. Wow. Alchemist dead.
Down.
That was, I mean, speaking of disasters.
Not a whole lot going on left anymore. Familiars from... Who are those familiars from?
From the Visage, and basically at that point, that's just for gold. I mean, you get 100 gold per familiar kill.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, looking at the items, I mean, you can see it in the scoreboard. We're almost 20 minutes in. The Alchemist has a Soul Ring, Shadow Fiend. He just completed the Black King bar on top of the Power Treads. Visage, poor. Darkseer, poor. Lifestealer, poor. Orb of Venom, I mean... And then meanwhile, Dragon Knight on the Radiant side. Black King bar, Power Treads, okay. Yasha, almost. I guess I shouldn't talk over fights, but come on, that happened instantly. Marana got the Yasha and the Ultimate Orb just seconds away from her
Dire's bottom tower
Manta style. Nyx Assassin needs to watch out here because the familiars are stun him up, and Unstable Concoction, Soul Assumption, and that's a dead Crystal Maiden. Looks like they're going.
Alchemist.
Oh, Alchemist just gets melted, and another 2-person impale from this Nyx Assassin.
And Nyx finally goes down.
Yeah, that's the power of the Soul Assumption, man. I mean, it stops mattering as much later on in the game, but that's a dead Darkseer. This game is
Darkseer.
over.
Well, yeah, the Lifestealer is the only one alive for the Dire, and he's over there pushing the
They're
lane
pushing
out.
the tower, and I don't know if you just saw, that's a 18-minute Radiance for the Lone Druid, which is a very good time, no matter how you look at it. But the Bear's going to go down with a Lone Druid. No, he's going to be able to TP out, no problem. Same thing with Dragon Knight. I mean, there's nothing that they have. That,
Lone
the
Druid
Lone
didn't
Druid
make
did
it.
not. What did he do?
Did he cancel?
What did he get hit with? That's the only thing. Like, there's nothing that they can do.
There was some. It was that right there.
No, the open wounds shouldn't affect it.
That was the only thing around him.
Huh.
That was the only thing around him.
Either way, he's
Right, so that
fucking
Darkseer came in. Oh, he was just
Dire's
portaling
bottom tower is under attack.
off of that tower. So, what is it? Boots of Travel that you can go to. Maybe your
Who picked up Boots of
creeps.
Travel?
I don't think anybody has Boots of Travel. It's just that's what it takes, right?
Yeah, that is what it takes. And I mean, that can be, I believe, the Visage Familiars, even you can boost travel to. Definitely, like, the Beastmaster Boars and the Hawks. And right now, the Dire is trying to get in a Roche. And one, I think they can do it, because Alchemist with the Acid Spray, I don't see, like, it would probably help if everyone was there. And two, they desperately need something like this. They desperately need that gold infusion that a Roche kill will provide, not even mentioning the Aegis, which Lifestealer's going to pick up, and hopefully, I'm hoping that he goes back to farming for at least a little bit, and then maybe try to take a team fight after that. Because I mean, right now the Lifestealer is doing nothing.
What's going on here with Lifestealer and this creep farm?
They've stacked the Ancients, and I believe I've talked to you about that.
Okay, ancient stacking where
ancient stacking.
They repop every minute.
Every minute.
So if
they're
you
not, yeah.
Right.
And of course, I mean, none of them are strong enough. Like the Lifestealer isn't strong enough at this point to do it by himself, which is why you've got the whole team there. But that works because everyone gets a little gold. Of course, you're going to want to try to let the Lifestealer get the last hits, but everyone gets a little bit of experience as well. Which, looking at the levels, oof, that's rough. I mean,
Dire's middle tower
level
is
9
under
Visage, level 9 Darkseer, they're... To be fair, the supports on the Radiant side aren't doing any better, but the carries on the
they're
Radiant
getting
side
big.
are clearly ahead.
Getting big real quick. I mean, it's only a matter of 1 or 2 levels, but
Yeah,
that is huge at this point.
at this point, and we've got the Radiant coming in a mid. They need to come back with the TP scrolls. Like, this needs to be defended. Because I don't know that they can come back from missing mid-racks, but here we go. Got an arrow come out, impale, nothing.
Radiant's
Familiars come in, and there's a stun, Will they go on this? Ooh, Alchemist had the concoction. We got Shadow Fiend, BKBing up, it's still the big one, but the Bear doesn't care. Well, hell, for that matter, neither does the Dragon Knight. Look at this. They tanked all of that. They did not care. They got the racks, they got out.
is under attack.
They're sticking around
There's Aegis
long
popping.
enough for
Bottom tower.
Nyx Assassin to go down. Mirana's about to go down.
Yeah, but
Sticks around much longer,
there's that
yeah.
Soul Assumption. Open wounds on the Crystal Maiden, and I mean the Crystal Maiden in general
Maiden.
is just a Lifestealer food.
Darkseer's
Yeah,
probably going to eat
Darkseer,
it,
what are you doing, buddy? And then the Dragon Knight goes out.
but obviously not a fair trade.
Definitely not a fair trade.
Especially considering everything else that's going on. They got their racks down on their middle lane, so
Yeah, and there's the mech from the Visage, which that will help a lot. But I mean, looking at that last fight, if you think about it, that was 4 of the members of Bigboobs down for the Darkseer, but then also the Lifestealer Aegis. They had to sacrifice not only their T3 but one of their barracks. So
Yeah.
it was a win for them, definitely, but it was expensive. Like that, it's not
Well,
something you're going to be able to do every time.
I think at this point you're pretty much delaying the inevitable. I mean, I hate to call games early, but it feels to me like, especially with these team fights going on and the way Bigboobs are just kind of dominating, right? I can't not smile every time. The way the Radiant, let's just call them that, the way the Radiant is just kind of dominating these team fights, and they're moving in with so much
you got an
coordination.
Oh, Visage is going to get melted. They did not need that. He's their mech carrier, and now they don't have that mech. And they may even sit here and wait for the familiars to come back up and take them out as well.
All right, was he just out of place? What happened there?
That was the Visage being out of place. He was trying to get a little bit of farm. Like, I understand the sentiment, but that is the last thing they needed, especially considering probably on the back of this, the Radiant is going to try to push.
Meanwhile, the Dire is collapsing in to defend. I feel like for them at this point, and correct me if I'm wrong, they get a good team fight. They can push out one of the lanes, potentially take down one of the tier 2 towers, and maybe even start pushing on a tier 3. 3 is the innermost tower.
Yeah. Oh, Alchemist, what are you? Oh, Alchemist is dead.
Out of position once again. Same thing, right? Like he's was that his observer ward?
No. Again, because of the ward coverage, and if you see this, these are very aggressively placed wards.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, the green's Radiant, obviously.
Rightly so. Rightly so. So they know something's up now. They're going to try to deward. I mean, that's a good move. But yeah, they knew exactly where he was. They knew exactly what was coming up. If you saw the initiation, Rana leaped in, instantly arrowed. That's a dead Alchemist.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like you said, this is kind of delaying the inevitable. They're going to hit this T2, go to the T3. I mean, they kind of need to just
Everybody's
defend
coming in
as best as they can. Oh, the Radiance burn. The Radiance burn. I mean, nice wall into a vacuum, but the BKB instantly popping Dragonite. It looks like the Bear, Shadow Fiend, popped his BKB as well, but the Bear's just doing too much work. Bear finally goes down, but I believe he's going to have... Oh, you know, this is actually...
yeah, see, this is
the arrow for the Alchemist.
This is the team fight that the Dire was looking for.
Yeah, this is exactly what the Dire needed. This was, like, the best possible thing that could have happened. This is basically fucking Christmas for them.
So they lost Shadow Fiend, but they gained a lot more.
They
in
gained
the way
a lot more.
of precious time to push out this lane, maybe get some farm going.
Exactly.
And try to get themselves back into the game. They are reversing this experience loss to the Radiant, but I mean,
yeah,
they're still,
the gold is still way in the Radiant's favor.
Gold
but
is
even
ridiculously in the Radiant's favor.
Even then, I mean, all of a sudden after those two team fights, if you look at the items, Lifestealer, who had basically nothing, he had an Orb of Venom and a Helm, and now he's got an Armlet. Now he's got a Sange. Same thing on the Alchemist. The Alchemist is now sporting Medallion of Courage. The Visage had the mech up. Yeah, and Hood of Defiance. Hello, man. I don't get the Hood of Defiance pickup. I mean, that's a anti-magic item, and the Flame Breath and the Starfall from Mirana, Crystal Maiden, I guess. But I feel like that gold could have been better spent elsewhere.
Okay, for the Dire, who's their heavy hitter right now? You have level 14 Lifestealer, level 14 Shadow Fiend. Who are they banking on to make plays for them?
Right now, you're banking on the Lifestealer, 100%. Like, you have to bet everything on him. And see here, when you're talking about these teams picking up items, you can see it as kind of a curve of power. Like they get more items, they get more powerful. But really, if you were to look at that curve, it's just a trend, and you see spikes. The Dire had something going for them when they managed to pick up the Armlet, when they managed to pick up the Medallion of Courage. That's good, but now Mirana has a Desolator, and Mirana's going to be hitting stupid hard. And not just that she's going to be hitting super hard, but then all of a sudden Nyx is going to be hitting harder because of the armor reduction from the Desolator. Lone Druid Bear is going to be hitting harder. Dragonite's going to be hitting harder.
Okay, so does that Desolator, does it apply to right-click attacks or any magic attack?
Desolator's right-click attacks, yeah.
Okay,
and
so...
we got Moonlight Shadow Initiation coming up mid. Are they going to be able to catch anyone? No. Mirana lets Arrow fly. But now, wisely, Dire has this warded. They kind of know what's going on. They're not going to be caught unawares again. And they, in fact, are going to smoke up themselves. Try to make something of this.
Also have the Sentry Ward down to look for Nyx Assassin. Is that?
Well, not only Nyx Assassin when he goes into Vendetta, but also again the
Morana's
Moonlight
ultimate,
Shadow.
yeah.
Here they come. This could be. I mean, if they pull this off because they're a little the Radiant's a little spread out. See, here's Nyx. And there was a big delay on going on the Nyx. That surprises the hell out of me.
Yeah, there really was.
But Soul Assumption, 4-step.
Is he gonna get away?
I think he's
Life
dead.
Stealer's on him.
And here's
He goes
Chris
down.
Maidenfall.
Shadow Fiend eats it
Shadow
quick.
Fiend could not afford that.
Alchemist also down.
Instant buyback from the Nyx Assassin. Visage. I mean, at this point, they just need to disengage and try to lose as few people as possible. And just look at the damage coming out from Morana.
Darkseer's running his balls up. He's got nothing. He's down.
And, I mean, Visage, I have no idea what the Visage is doing up there. At that point, he should have realized that the day is lost.
I wanna say that it was just kind of he was trying to scatter. Yeah. Radiance. They really regoosed on that one.
Yeah.
I felt like the Dire had him on the back foot, and there's the GG from.
I mean, honestly, you couldn't expect anything else. The Desolator, they're just going through the towers.
Like I said. And so overall, a pretty exciting game early on. We end at just shy of 30 minutes here.
And honestly, I feel like the Dire was making a comeback.
Oh, they had it. They definitely had the skill.
They twinge when you're like,
is this going to happen? exactly. Am I about to witness a miracle here? And we nearly did, but there were just some bad decisions made early on.
Too many people get picked out of caught out of place.
Yeah, being out of position. And then some of those early fights, losing those early on, you can see what kind of momentum that builds for each team. And in this case, it just happened to go to the Radiant.
Yeah, and I mean the gold deficit was it was too much to overcome. Ultimately, they had a chance. They had some good team fights, and it was ultimately a better game in the end than I thought it would be.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't like to call games early. I ended up calling it right that time, but I was hoping to see myself prove wrong. And I think it just once again shows the power of sex, because Bigboobs were all over that one, and it worked for them very well. I think those banners actually were distracting to everybody. I had to zoom in on them a couple of times.
Oh shit! I didn't see the banners.
Yeah, there's two chicks pressing their giant boobs up against each other.
Nice.
Yeah, I missed half the game because of it.
And so on that note, I think we're done here.
Okay. And so for Dota 2 and the league in general, and whatever else you really want to say at this point, I'm Warbond.
And I'm Despair.
And signing off.